being an England fan isn't always easy. With just one World Cup victory in 65 long and painful years, there are usually more lows than highs following the Three Lions. On this TTM Sports football special, we bring you England's Worst Moments, Part 1.
Number 5. Losing to Germany, World Cup 2010. The 2010 World Cup under Fabio Capello will go down as one of the worst performances at a World Cup by an England side ever. Squeezing through the group, albeit unbeaten, after uninspiring draws with the USA and Algeria, it would take a late Jermaine Defoe goal to secure a 1-0 win versus Slovenia and a place in the last 16, where they would face a Germany side at the beginning of a rebuild under Joachim Löw. After being dominated from the start, England would be 2-0 down in 30 minutes, thanks to goals from Miroslav Klose and Lukasz Podolski. But they would get a lifeline with a Matthew Upson header. Then the drama. A looping Frank Lampard shot hit the underside of the bar and over the line. The whole world could see the ball over the line, except the linesman Mauricio Espinosa, who incredibly refused to flag for a goal. Incredibly, the score would remain 2-1 until the second half, where England would be carved open by Mesut Ozil twice in 3 minutes as Thomas Muller helped himself to a brace, leaving England to go out of the World Cup with a whimper, going down 4-1 in the end, to the old enemy. Terrible tournament, but the Lampard disallowed goal was a tough one to take.
Number 4. Elimination from France 98. After safely navigating a tricky group of Colombia, Tunisia and Romania, yes, when they were good, it would be one of the old enemies in the last 16, this time Argentina. England would find themselves 2-1 up after a wild opening 16 minutes, which would see Batistuta and Shearer both score from the penalty spot, before Michael Owen scored that goal. But on the stroke of half-time, it would start to go familiarly wrong for England. Javier Zanetti would finish off an unbelievable free-kick routine, making it 2-2. Then just 2 minutes into the second half, David Beckham, England's majestic star player, would be unbelievably sent off after falling into a typical Diego Simeone shithousery trap. He kicked out at the infamous Atletico Madrid manager, and despite this, Glenn Hoddle's 10 men held on to take it to penalties, and may have even won it in extra time. But unbelievably, Sol Campbell's headed goal was ruled out for a foul, despite the foul being on the England captain, Alan Shearer. Another robbery by the officials at FIFA. Then again, it would be the same old familiar story for England as they were eliminated on penalties. This one was a real sickener. But revenge would come just 4 years later in the Far East.
Number 3. The 2014 World Cup.
That's good.
England travelled to Brazil for the 2014 World Cup in reasonable shape, a squad mixed with a blend of experience boasting the likes of Wayne Rooney, Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard, mixed with young talents such as Raheem Sterling, Danny Welbeck and Jordan Henderson. But under veteran coach Roy Hodgson, it would be yet another sorry performance. Kicking off with a 2-1 defeat to Italy, thanks to a Mario Balotelli goal in the jungle of Manaus, England would then put in another flaccid performance, going down 2-1 to a Luis Suarez-inspired Uruguay, meaning after just 2 games, England would fail to qualify from the group stage of a World Cup for the first time since 1958. They then had to play a meaningless group-ending game against eventual quarter-finalists Costa Rica, in what could only be described as the most 0-0 draw of all 0-0 draws ever. Amazingly, this would not be the lowest that England would sink under Roy Hodgson.
Number 2. The Wally with the Brolly. For England fans, failing to qualify for any tournament would be a downright disaster. And failing to qualify for the 2008 European Championships can only be described as an embarrassment of incomprehensible proportion. And, in a sick twist of footballing destiny, that is exactly what had happened. Steve McClaren, England's brightest folly, sensationally turned into the Wally with the Brolly. The scene was set for the stuff of football nightmares. Pounding rain, Scott Carson in goal, and a young Luka Modric running the show. After dropping England inspirational captain David Beckham and Jermaine Defoe in a statement squad selection previously, the coffee-loving Yorkshireman, now under massive increasing pressure, sensationally recalled the pair as his England tenure started to crumble. After being 2-0 down, McLaren turned to the old skipper, who provided an assist for the lanky Peter Crouch to make it 2-2, and a great escape beckoned. Unfortunately, the only thing that beckoned was the sack, as Mladen Petric scored to make it 3-2 to the Croats, as England sensationally failed to qualify for Euro 2008. And as for the Wally with the brolly, he just simply stood there with a coffee. Disgraceful.
Number 1. Getting knocked out of Euro 2016 by Iceland. Just when we thought being 1-0 down to Wales at half-time was bad, much worse was yet to come. What should have been a routine last 16 tie with Minnows Iceland appearing in their first ever major tournament turned into the darkest day in England football history. Wayne Rooney, strangely playing holding midfield, would open the scoring after just 4 minutes from the penalty spot. Sadly, this was as good as it was going to get. The next 10 minutes would see England concede 2 goals thanks to a combination of being incapable of dealing with a long throw-in and Joe Hart having wrists made of poppadoms. Despite having over 70 minutes to break down the nation of just over 300,000 inhabitants, England barely even laid a glove on the Icelandics, and it wasn't until the introduction of an 18-year-old Marcus Rashford that any England player successfully dribbled past an Iceland player. In the end, England faced the embarrassment of being on the wrong end of the biggest shock in European Championship history. Great stuff again from Roy Hodgson.
And there you have it, England's worst moments, part 1. Can you think of any other terrible moments that have happened to our glorious 3 Lions on the football field? Or even for that matter, off it? Drop it in the comments below. Don't forget, for more football shorts from TTM Sports, keep following the channel. Have a great day, and don't forget to hit the all-important subscribe button.